Hello. For those that have been following me for some time, you know that I made a commitment to a year long of believing in myself. And believing in myself when it's easy, believing in myself when it's hard, believing in myself when things look beautiful, believing in myself when things look ugly. And it has been such a journey, but I wanted to keep you guys updated and let you know how I am doing here just 5 short months in. While believing in yourself can sound like an easy feat or an easy commitment, I'm going to challenge you to take a moment and consider what would happen if you had to believe in yourself at all times. That's when it becomes a little bit more difficult, and that's when you have to confront a lot of parts of yourself. This month, what I've really had to confront is my comfort zone. The reality is with each new level, I believe that there's a new devil. So each time I feel like I up level, I run into a new obstacle, a new part of me that's like, I'm really comfortable, I'm really safe, it's really familiar, let me just stay where I'm at. But I know that in your comfort zone, there is no growth. And so it's forced me to move beyond my comfort zone. And for me, what has helped me the most this month is checking in, honing in, and being truly honest with myself. So what I mean by that is the reality is we have a lot of things that get in the way, quote unquote, and that's what we call them. We say that time is in the way or that money is in the way or all these things. But if we're not honest, we are always going to fall victim to our obstacles and to those barriers. And so this month I have decided to be like truly honest and like almost confrontational with some of my excuses. And so for example, when someone will say something like, well, I just don't have time. Typically below time, there's a real reason. So for me, a lot of times I would say things like, well, I don't know if I should really go live about this topic because people might think that I've been talking about a lot of things randomly. And so I want to seem more seamless. I want to seem like I know what I'm talking about and that I'm not all over the place. And what I had to really do is I had to check in with myself and ask myself where that was coming from. And the further I dug, the more I realized that it was fear. Fear of what people would think. Fear of me not feeling qualified enough. Fear of a lot of different things. And I had to be able to address that fear head on. And I have to be honest, addressing that fear is challenging, but that's what comes with a comfort zone. For those that are new to a comfort zone or don't really understand it, it's basically a self-imposed boundary that keeps you safe, that keeps you comfortable. And while in reality it feels very comfortable, it feels very relatable, it feels very familiar, there is no growth that happens there. But the idea of breaking free of your comfort zone will cause you to be uncomfortable, can cause you to be anxious, and can stir up a lot of fear. Hence why I was dealing with a lot of this fear, because I was pushing myself beyond that comfort zone. So what I'm doing beyond just recognizing that this fear exists is I'm working to actively solve it. There's a quote that says, feel the fear and do it anyways. And I love that quote because it's like, I just need to go for it. But I recognize that in my own willpower and in myself, I am not going to push myself beyond that. It's difficult. So I started to really be cognizant of creating a community of people that are feeling the fear and doing it anyways. Because I'm a firm believer that you are the average of the top 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. Do a little experiment. Take time and talk to the top 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with and ask them the amount of time that they spend watching Netflix. You probably watch an average of that amount of time. Take the top people you spend the most amount of time with and take all of their salaries and then divide it by 5. There you have your salary. That's not a coincidence. We are a reflection of the people we spend the most amount of time with. And I knew that if I wanted to move beyond my fear, I couldn't surround myself with people that were succumbing to their fear, that were falling victim to their fear. I needed to surround myself with people that were feeling that fear and moving beyond that and going after their dreams and their goals unapologetically and confidently. So even though this month has been challenging, even though I have stirred a ton of fear, I have learned some of the greatest lessons twofold. First one is that our comfort zone is not the place that we need to be, which I've already known, but I also now understand that comfort zones don't just end for good. Comfort zones are something that you need to commit to ending every single time you up level. And then the second thing that I have come to understand is really having the right people around you is crucial and critical to your overall success at breaking free of your comfort zone. So I wanted to take some time to be able to keep you guys informed as I move throughout this journey, because it has not always been easy, but what I can say so far is that it's been so worth it, so empowering and so exciting to be able to see the growth that I've been able to make. And so I want to challenge you to join me. If you are struggling with limiting beliefs, if you are struggling with being in your own way, if you are struggling with just falling victim to your comfort zone and staying where it feels safe and familiar and comfortable, but you also recognize that you're stagnant or stuck, join me on the journey to committing to yourself for 1 year. After all, what do you have to lose by believing in yourself, your vision, and your dreams?